then. We've had this weird stuff coming down from the skies, wet stuff, for the past couple of weeks. I seem to remember they call it rain. Of course, we're glad of it in California, but a lot of people just don't know how to drive. There have been loads of fender benders all over the place. But, you know, the auto repair shops will absolutely love that. So, again, it's another out of evil cometh good. I suppose there's always a silver lining for someone. And President Trump's in our area today. He was landing in San Diego this morning to go and look at prototypes of the wall. And I don't know where the big blue plane will land. Maybe it'll have to go to the military base, because I don't think the regular approach to the airport will be big enough.
Well, I think the runway's long enough, but it's like landing in Hong Kong. You can see the whites of people's eyes and their laundry on them.
Yeah, probably a bit. I wonder how the pilot copes with all the stress of that job. It must be a heck of a job. But I believe after he's been to San Diego, he's coming up here to Beverly Hills, and he's having a fundraiser tonight at an unknown location, a private house in Beverly Hills somewhere. So I bet they're cleaning out the knife drawer and dusting under the couches and everything now.
Like I did before Seth Swirsky.
That's right. Ruth was, she actually even washed the dishes, the breakfast dishes, before Seth arrived, and vacuumed, and yes. Anyway,
Richard Olive is watching.
Hello, Richard.
Oh, hello, Richard, all the way from jolly old England. You know about rain, don't you, darling? Anyway, this dinner tonight, the fundraiser for the president, the tickets range from $35,000 to $250,000.
Are we going?
No, it's not quite in my budget. I've got a date tonight, and so have you. We're having dinner in Santa Monica with, what's his name? Pat Roxworth. Sorry, Pat, I didn't mean to forget your name. You will still pick up the tab, won't you? Was your invitation. So, no, I mean, the traffic will be just crazy over the other side of the hill tonight because of the president. They've got lots of roads closed off.
That's what lift is for.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know where he's staying the night, but I have cleaned the
Not
guest
clean
room.
enough.
I have cleaned the guest room this morning. So if you're stuck, Mr. President, you know, there's tea bags and a clean bed, yes. But no, I'm sure he's got a full schedule. And as have we, because today I'm delighted because we've got Seth Squirt. I can never get your name right, Seth. Why don't you change it to Thompson or something? Seth Swirsky.
There you go.
I'm so, yeah. But Seth will be on to talk to you in a few minutes. And like tonight, getting back to this evening, we're going out to dinner with, including Pamela DeBar and Paul Antonelli and a few other funny people, and Martin, of course, and Ruth, if she behaves herself. So I've marked the calendar on tomorrow as recovery day, because a night out with rocks is usually like a week in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. I have to have a little lie down this afternoon.
Thank God our livers are from Liverpool.
Oh, yeah. Long-haired livers from Liverpool. Yeah. So I hear, this is not such good news, the California Transit Authority, they're trying to demolish a house that once belonged to Julia Child. And it's some part of some road widening scheme in the Pasadena area, evidently. And a group of Julia's supporters are trying to fight the decision. I wish them good luck with that, because somebody else I know who's not famous, she's been battling with Caltrans, with solicitors for several years for the same reason. So anyway, now that, you know, a celebrity name's attached to it, maybe they'll get some more action. We shall see. I hope so, for her sake, and for everybody else whose properties are likely to be demolished.
Somebody said they like you in this color.
Oh, good. Yes, this is one of my Kmart favourites.
Wait, Facebook's not in black and white? Christ.
Oh, no, we paid the extra $5 a month, Ruth.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Good to know where that 5 is
Yeah.
going, because I wondered.
But is it time, do you think, Seth? Are you sufficiently rested from your journey that you'd like to come and talk to us?
Dun, 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 dun. Band. We don't have a live band. But, you take Seth's phone there. And ladies and gentlemen,
Come sit beside me, young Seth.
drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please. And I'm sorry, I keep getting your name wrong. I mean,
It's because of the day
very
drinking.
well.
it's the daytime drinking that does it. Lovely to see you.
Nice to see
Yeah.
you too.
I believe you just did the Beatle Fest, or Fest for the Beatles.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it
Jolly
was a lot
good.
of fun. Yeah.
Good. Oh, it's always great.
One for me, guys?
Yeah. Hello.
All righty then.
Thank you.
Come on, Seth. Tell us all about what you've been doing.
Well, I'm doing, a few years ago, I made a documentary called Beatles Stories, where I interviewed people like Sir Ben Kingsley and Art Garfunkel, Graham Nash, Justin Hayward, all these great,
Lovely.
all the Beatles engineers and their
Yeah.
former girlfriends, and
Yeah.
just great,
Good stuff.
great stories
Fabulous.
that I cut down into like 2-minute pieces, and there's 55 of them, and
Oh, well, have you
I'm
had
doing
Jeff
I'm doing
Emmerich?
my best Vanna White here. There it is, kids.
Yes.
I'm going to put your other
Yes.
fabulous
And,
goods and prizes.
and now I'm doing volume 2, Beatles Stories volume 2.
Great.
So yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
filming stories now, and they're just
Fabulous.
really fun.
Yeah, well, we should hook you up with Jeff Emmerich. He's, he worked with George Martin in the early
sure,
days,
I know
and
very well, yeah.
he now lives up Laurel Canyon, and we ran into him recently at East West Studios.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah, I'll put you in touch with him.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm
That's
sure
great.
you two can make beautiful music together.
Oh, thank you.
Speaking of beautiful music,
Yeah.
tell us about how did you get your start in songwriting?
Well, since 1967, all I wanted to do was be a Beatle, and I didn't know exactly how that was going to turn out, so I begged for a guitar, and I started, just playing it, and when I graduated from college, I had a couple of songs that were published by Chapel Music.
Wow.
And before I knew it, Air Supply did a song, and Celine Dion, and Smokey Robinson. It was just really kind of fun.
Yes.
And I wrote a song called "Tell It to My Heart."
Oh, yes.
For Taylor Dayne. And
Yeah.
So that's how I manifested my love of
I see.
pop
Yes.
music.
Yeah.
As a professional songwriter
Yes.
for many
Yeah.
years, and then it turned into other pursuits.
Well, you have so many strings, don't you? So many different things that you do. I only realised a few days ago you are a clinical psychologist. He's come to the right house, hasn't he, Ruth? Oh, my God.
Nut bin, yeah.
But I'll give you my good price.
Oh, good.
Family price.
Yeah, family press. I'll do you a deal. Good old Seth.
Yes, I put out a book this past year called 21 Ways to a Happier Depression.
Oh, yes, I'm about to read that.
Yeah. It's really kind of when you have a lot of anxiety and a lot of when you have those blue days.
Yes.
These are some things that I've
It's right there.
used to help myself and
Yes.
then my own patients as
Jolly
well.
good. Show it to the folks. Is it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon.
Jolly good. Get
Yeah.
yourself over to Amazon with your little credit card.
Yeah, thank you.
Good.
So
Thank you
if
so
you had
much.
to pick a favourite discipline, writing, songwriting, painting, photography, directing, what would it be?
I would say as a recording artist, I really love to, first of all, I really love to write songs, but then I like to hear what they sound like.
Yes.
So I love the process of my favorite record ever, outside of the Beatles themselves,
Yes.
was Paul McCartney's first solo album, just called McCartney.
Yes.
So I like to go into the studio and play all the instruments, and it really kind of emanates from that particular record.
Does it really? Yeah.
So when you ask what I like to do the most, music is it's magical in a way that
It's so important, isn't it?
different than film
Yes.
or books. Music, you don't quite know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's not an
Yes.
everyday thing unless you do know how to do it. And I just was fortunate that I took to it at a very early age, and I love
It's
it.
a God-given talent, isn't it? You're born with it, I think. And then you can develop it or destroy it or
I
waste
think
it.
if you're given
Yeah.
any gift in the world, it means nothing unless you keep adding to it and keep working.
I wonder what my gift is. Making people laugh, I hope.
Drinking.
Drinking and making people laugh. Now, I don't drink that much, but yeah, I
Spill
drink.
most of it.
I don't drink much. I spill most of it. Yeah.
Shocking.
So,
So
Ruth?
when is Beatles Stories 2? There's a bunch of all the research you did yesterday.
Oh,
on
yes.
names.
Oh, I know. Yes, yes.
Dear God.
I know.
She's an older person.
I'm an older person, definitely, yeah. No, Seth has got so many talents, as you know by now. His main things like Tell It to Your Heart and Prove Your Love by Taylor Dayne, Did You Give Enough Love by Celine Dion. Wow. It must be so satisfying when these artists perform your stuff too, mustn't it,
I have to tell you, the first time, as a songwriter, you never know if you're gonna,
No,
if you're
of
gonna,
course.
if you're
Yeah,
gonna make it or
sure.
not. And I remember taking a trip to San Francisco with my girlfriend at the time, and we got off the plane and we rented a car, and I turned on the radio of a rental car, and we're driving down the highway to go to San Francisco as a trip, and on comes Tell It to My Heart.
Wow.
Well,
and it was
but he
the
nearly
first,
drove off the road.
It was
Yeah.
just one of those
Yes.
moments.
Yes.
So when you say, you know, is it thrilling? It
Yeah.
always is thrilling.
Yes, yes.
It's always thrilling to hear it when your kids are in the car and you hear
Oh,
one of your songs.
absolutely, yes.
You know, it proves to them that you actually do something.
Yeah.
I've been trying to explain it
Dad's
to them for
not
years.
just the person who
Right.
says, "Have you done your homework?" Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wonderful.
So what's the focus on Beatles Stories 2?
Well, you know, so many people asked for me to continue it because they felt like it was, you know, like, I want more.
Yes.
And I just thought, you know, there's so many stories out there, and it's not like I'm looking to uncover that Ringo wore shoe size, you know, 12
I
as
know.
opposed to 10.
Because everybody knows all that. They
That's
know
right.
where to look for it, at
That's
least.
right.
Yeah.
But what's interesting to me is having the people themselves tell a story.
Yes.
You know, and seeing the way they tell the story, and to
Yes.
keep it nice and, you know, edited to a 2-minute type
Yes,
of thing. So you
yes.
really get as many as you can. And I've just found that there are
Great.
just so many great stories out there.
I'm sure you'll find many more.
Oh
yeah.
my God, it's just so much fun. I have a real
Good.
enthusiasm
Good.
for
Yeah,
them
that's
and
great.
you know, that time.
Yeah,
So
because
what was your last week's story you were just telling us about? That's classic.
Oh yeah, I just interviewed. He turned out to be the Beatles' hair cutter in the
yeah.
swinging London '60s. A guy named Leslie Cavendish.
that's right. Yes.
Lovely, lovely guy.
Yeah.
Very lovely guy. And I asked him, you know, because I'm always looking for a little bit of a different angle on something to have fun
course, yeah.
myself. I don't just turn on the camera and say talk,
No.
you know. But I had a number of questions for him, and then I said, listen, would you mind if we do this interview while you cut my hair? You know?
He's Jewish, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Always
That's
like to say for us.
exactly. And he goes, you know, in England we would say you've really that's the bollocks, you know. And I said, well, what does that mean? And he goes, well, you're Jewish and I'm Jewish. He goes, that means a lot of chutzpah
Yeah,
for you to ask.
absolutely,
And I
yeah,
thought he was going to
yeah.
turn me down. And he goes, and I like it.
Oh,
he goes,
good.
so he got out those
So hence
scissors.
the nice haircut.
I'm thrilled with it.
Oh,
It's my
absolutely. And
favorite
they didn't
one.
did you tip him?
Of course.
Yeah, he tipped him. He said, you know, don't back horses, you lose all your money. That's my tip.
Very lovely guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Very lovely guy. And it was just a
Good.
really, really nice
It's
thing.
great to know he was at the fest up in New Jersey
Oh, yeah.
because, you know, he'd have met up with a lot of the good old timers.
You know, I find that in my first movie, in the original Beatles stories, that I got to be friends with certain people that I interviewed.
Yes.
But there were certain people that we felt an affection for each other. And the one that stands out was a man named Norman Smith.
Oh, right, Hurricane Smith.
Hurricane
oh,
Smith.
Yeah.
So he was there
He was
in the
the engineer for
1962
George, wasn't he?
right,
Yes, yeah.
audition.
Yes.
And then all through and including Rubber Soul. So he was really there for like 3/4
That's
of their
right.
output.
And he had a career of his own, didn't he?
He had a career of his own, and I get to the railroad station, the train station in Sussex. I'm about to get a cab, and he pulls up with his wife, picks me up. The
Oh,
camera's rolling,
Oh, great.
and I'm thinking, I can't believe that
I
I'm
know,
being
lovely,
a
yeah.
lovely man.
Yeah.
He said, "You're the first person that's been to my house. You're the first person to interview me in 30 years. No one comes by."
Really?
Yeah. So he just lovely, and
Yeah.
we had a very, very terrific interview.
Good,
it's
that's
in my
nice.
first movie. And,
Yes, that's right.
you know, so it just,
Yeah, I thought it was marvellous that you were able to capture George Martin,
oh yes,
you know, on
yes,
film. It was lovely.
yes,
Super.
that was fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun to meet
Yeah.
him, obviously.
Absolutely. Yes, he was lovely. True gentleman.
And our
Yes.
old buddy Andrew Gold.
Oh
He
yes,
was a client for many years.
terrific guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you'll like this little tidbit. I'd never met Paul in my life.
Oh,
I
really?
met George twice.
Yes.
And I met Ringo, and it was very, very nice.
Yeah.
And I was at my gym working out, and all of a sudden I'm doing a sit up, and you coming up, and you look, and there's Paul on one of the running machines. He was in town to promote something.
Yes.
This is a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, this is my chance. So I got to the running machine right next to his. And here he is, all of, 70, 71,
Yes,
whatever it
yes.
was. And he's going so fast and hard on that
yeah.
machine. It was,
Yes, amazing, isn't it?
and he started to power down, and so did I. And he knew
Yeah, he
that
knew
I
it
was a
was
Beatle.
coming.
He knew that I was a Beatle person, if you know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying by
sure,
that.
yeah.
And he gave me a look as if to say, "Okay,
Okay,
I'm
come
gonna,
on,
come
bring
on,
it on."
I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to let you." And
Bring
I'm
it on.
scrambling for
Yeah.
what is the best question, because I was in the middle of doing my movie, and I was going to say, "Well, I just interviewed Brian Wilson or George Martin,"
Yeah.
but he might have been bored by that because he knows them for years. And just it came out of me. I said, I just got to tell you, I was just interviewing Norman Smith.
Great.
It stopped him.
Good one.
He said, Norman Smith.
Yeah. How is he? Yeah.
We must have talked for 10 minutes. There are people crowding around.
Yeah, sure.
It was such a lovely moment.
That's great, yes.
You know, over somebody that is not the first name that comes to your...
That's right,
You know,
yes.
but he felt that moment.
Sure.
And that was very enjoyable.
Good, I'm glad.
Yes.
So I hear you going over to Europe with this film, right?
Oh, yes. I'll be in London and Liverpool, most likely in June. Yeah.
I will point you in certain directions.
Oh, that's so nice.
Oh, no problem.
Well, I've had the pleasure of playing the Cavern Club.
Oh, have you really?
Yes. Just to be on Matthew Street. I know it's not the exact one.
No, I know.
It's a
good,
few
though.
over.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
it's so
it's
much
good fun. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we launched my book there, and we did.
Liverpool, not at the Cavern, at the film.
Not at the Cavern, no,
Okay.
in Liverpool, and the people who published it brought in, was it 4 bands from different countries? One was a Japanese band.
The Tetrads.
The Tetrads, they were called. They didn't speak a word of English.
But
But
they
they
sang
got on
in
and said, rub me do. And the night they arrived, they had flown from wherever they
I
lived
think they
to
flew
Tokyo.
25 hours
Yeah.
from Tokyo to Zurich to Gatwick, and then got in a van,
Yeah,
and then we checked them into the Yellow Submarine bed and breakfast, which is a floating metal bucket.
barge on the Mersey, and of course it was these poor kids. And they came to our hotel and they said, Cavern, we want to go Cavern. So of course we piled into taxis, went to the Cavern, and they got up on stage and played. It was the moment of their lives, you know, playing at the Cavern.
You see, for me,
Yeah.
the Cavern and Liverpool
Yeah.
itself is
Yes.
mythical.
Absolutely.
So when I
yes.
first played there in 2004 to
Yeah.
promote my first album
Yes.
called Instant Pleasure,
Yeah.
it was
Bliss.
it was another world in a way.
Yes, I know.
Something of
I know
myth.
exactly what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we went down there that night with the Tetrads and watched them. And I remember thinking, God, I used to come here in my lunch hour when I was about 18 or 20 or something. Yeah, and Frida Kelly used to go too from work and take her sandwiches and eat there, and that's where she first saw them.
Very nice.
And have you interviewed Frida?
No, I've met her a number of times.
Oh, no,
Lovely.
she's great. We're in
Very
touch all the
lovely.
time.
So nice.
Yeah, we email each other every weekend and
Wonderful.
catch up. In fact, last Sunday, Pete Price, that I do the Liverpool radio show with, he does an afternoon session at a pub called The Grapes on Sundays.
Okay.
And last Sunday was Mother's Day in England, and Peter still misses his mum, Hilda. And he said, when we did our show at night, he said, I looked down into the audience this afternoon, and there was Frida Kelly with a big bunch of daffodils for me. He said, it just made my day and cheered me up. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, Frida's a sweetheart, and she comes over here occasionally, and I don't think she's been since about a year ago, and we did a little film clip of her, and we'll do something together eventually, if God spares us.
Yes.
But
So tell us about your latest CD and where we can hear it.
yes,
Well, I have a solo record that came out at the end of last year called Circles and Squares, but I also have a band called The Red Button, which is now #1 on Sirius Radio on the Underground Garage.
Wonderful.
We were just picked the coolest song
Yes.
in the world by Little Steven. You know.
Oh, I love Little Steven,
Steven
yes.
Van Zandt. It's
Yeah.
called our
Show
record's
the
called
folks.
Now It's All This, and we do very kind of that sound of 67, 68 somewhere. We're not trying to write that. We just like it very much.
lovely.
My partner and I, Mike Rickberg. So it's all over Sirius right now.
Sure.
Yes.
You know what to get.
Sapphire Crystal Rainbow from way up north
Yes.
has a question for Seth.
Yes.
And that is, I was curious to know what the catalyst or incident was that encouraged Seth to change your perspectives on life and write your book.
Oh, that's a great question. I've always loved conversation, and so it manifested itself in Beatles stories, just conversing with people about their stories about the Beatles. And I also wrote 3 baseball books. It was just conversational with old baseball players and whatever. And then I thought, I'm going to get my degree, and I'm going to get a master's degree in psychology, because why not help people along the way?
Terrific.
And so, that took 2 years. And
He just threw that in, master's degree.
But that's what made me do that, because
I know,
I feel
that's
like
terrific.
I
It
like to
really-
communicate
Yes.
with people, and
Yeah, I think
you know.
it's one of the things that's sadly missing in lots of people's lives.
Mm.
We all sit round that table down there at night
yes,
and discuss, you know. There's no television down there.
right. And
No, we
well,
just talk.
You know, for me, I'm not looking to have, you know, patients go on for years and years and years. And I say patients, it's
Yeah.
the term these days is clients, but
Yeah.
whatever, you know
Yeah,
what I'm talking
sure.
about.
Yeah.
But I feel like I look for solutions,
Yes.
you know, and I'm not really afraid to kind of go there and hold up a mirror and
Yeah.
let's get to it.
That's right.
Now,
but
you
yeah.
know, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking very generally. Of course, every case is different, but I really, that's what I just like talking to people, whether
Yes.
it's and
That's
hearing
wonderful.
stories.
Yeah. Particularly, you know, with the amount of experience you've had in industry and the arts and music and all kinds of different situations, you're well qualified to
Well, thank
not only
you.
to talk but to listen.
Yes, and I appreciate that. And there's I kind of specialize in people in the arts who are either have a block going
Yes,
on, or
yes, a
they've
lot
always
of
wanted to
stress.
write a book or
Yes.
make a record, but they don't
Yes.
feel like they can. I help them get through it, because I've been through it myself.
That's right. Yes,
You know?
for sure. Yeah. That's
Somebody's asking if you had a chance to see Billy J. Kramer this past weekend.
I did. I
Did you?
interviewed him for my last
Oh,
movie.
good.
He's
Oh,
a
I love
lovely,
Billy. He's a sweetheart.
lovely
Yes,
guy.
yes, we keep
very
in touch. Mm.
lovely guy. And he likes the New York Mets, so how bad can you know? It's a baseball thing.
Yeah, good.
And
Yeah.
somebody's asking if, obviously, Ringo and Paul aside, is there any other big wish list interviewee that you would like the Beatles stories to?
There's 3 people I would love to interview. I would love to interview Eric Clapton. I would love to interview Elton John, and I would love to interview Bob Dylan. Those are my 3 simple ones, right?
Yeah, it's very simple.
But I'll tell you.
I'll get right on
I'll
it.
tell you.
Hey,
I'll tell you.
just never know.
You never know,
No,
and
no,
and
no,
you know,
no, no.
I interviewed so many celebrities for my first movie as well.
Yes, I know.
And there are a number in this one
Yes.
that so far, but you know, that would be fun.
Well, that's why
I'll get right on
it.
Get
I
out your
guess you
phone.
and I-
Get out your phone book. Your address book. Come on.
I guess you and I didn't make the list then.
No. No, we just want old farts, Ruth. Yes. Unless you're going to write a separate book about old farts. Yes.
Absolutely. So let me just look through any. Mark Lindsay, our friend from Texas, is asking, how has your degree changed the way you approach an interview?
Well, I don't think it changes the way I approach an interview. It's a very good question, but I think it's kind of the way I just naturally am. I'm just really interested. Like, I don't really want to do an interview with somebody, even though they might have a great story, if I don't find them that interesting.
Uh-huh. No, I
And they don't have to be,
understand.
and they don't have to be great storytellers.
Yeah.
But I want to be excited myself, because that
Yes.
that comes out in the
obviously.
work.
Yes, sure. I'm sure it
You know.
does. Yeah.
So I very much.
So that's why we're not on the on his wish list, Ruth.
No.
Never mind. Never mind.
I meant
Okay.
outside of you guys.
Oh,
on
of course,
top
of course.
In the words of John Lennon, did we pass the audition?
Oh, absolutely.
So great. Well, this is Marty Scott is watching. Who
Oh,
is,
hello, Marty.
The brilliant George Harrison and Liverpool Legends. Have you
Louise
interviewed those
Harrison's
guys?
band. Yes.
Oh yeah, Marty is the record company president of the label that I'm on, called Gem Records, JEM, and
Yes.
he's a fantastic. He goes back a long way in the music business and signed a lot of big artists. So we're thrilled. The Red Button, we're thrilled.
Oh, good.
To be on his label, and my next solo record is going to be coming out next year with
Oh,
his
great.
label as well.
Keep us
So,
posted.
yes, I
and
will.
we'll
I will.
keep shilling for
sure.
you on our
Yes.
little program.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Hello, Nick Matzorkis.
Hello, Nick. Nick, keep away from those stingrays, please. I saw you yesterday in the water with one. Dangerous.
So tell the folks about that fabulous picture we'll post downstairs that Nick bought us at a gallery in Aspen.
Oh, you tell him.
Well, it's called Rehearsing for History, and we'll feature that in next week's episode. How's
Yes,
that?
okay.
That'll
We have...
get Nick Matzorkis to tune back in. Aha.
Aha. Nick?
Well,
I-
this has been fantastic, Seth. I know you have to run. Thank you very much. Martin, I would like my picture taken with Seth, so I'm going to jump in here. For once, I actually washed my hair and had my face on.
Jolly good.
Hello, kids. And we are posing for the pickies. Thanks
with-
very much. And
With the camera thing.
Thank you.
There we go. And may I suggest that if anybody knows a Beatle or has a real nugget, that they should just message you and see if it.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And you never
okay.
know. You know, those
Yes.
stories that are kind of really unique. You know,
And where's the best way for them to reach you?
Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
Seth Swirsky.
Yeah.
Or Seth.com.
Yes. Or my
Seth.com.
site, Seth.com.
Yes. Okay.
Everybody should
Yeah.
check that
Do
out.
that.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
thanks for
Thanks,
tuning in.
folks. Okay.
Absolutely.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Stay warm and naughty.
Does that include me?
Of course.
If